Welcome to our third battle report for the DC Universe miniature game. In this game, we pit Superman and the Justice League against Darkseid and his army of Parademons to take over and control the city of Metropolis after a war-torn battle that has left the city in tatters. Each side will need to place call markers across the battlefield to call in reinforcements to help solidify their forces and take control over the city of Metropolis once and for all. Let's go over the forces that will be seen in this battle.
Alright folks, this is my 61 points villains force led by Darkseid. He is 25 levels. He is a bruiser, so he's got a lot of attacks and a lot of special powers. The key things about him is that he is great at boosting his attacks. He's got energy and Power Master. He can actually, with Power Master, he adds 1 to the damage of any overloaded attacks. He's also got power transference, where he can give models within him a certain amount of power if they're within 4 inches. So he actually can juice up the other models in his force, and that's really good. He also has regeneration 5. So every turn he regenerates 5 damage. It is going to be really hard to put this guy in the ground. You've got to put a lot of effort to getting him down. He's also got resistance 2 to almost all defenses, except for magic, of course. Nobody gets resistance to magic, or you can't buff magic. I don't know if they can't get resistance to it, but that's pretty rare. And toughness 2, so he gets pushed or thrown 2 inches less, and objects thrown at him that are size 2 or smaller basically do no effect. So Darkseid is the leader of this force. He's got 6 Parademons, and so I have 2 of each Parademon 1, 2, and 3. By the Horde special rule, you can include up to 3 models that have the same name, so that's how you can get multiple Parademons in a list. So Parademons are all pretty similar. There's one with wings that I believe has the ability to fly. Yep, you've got fly. So Parademons are pretty interesting. They've got the special rule Cruel on Parademon 2, which allows them to do additional damage when someone is in the blue. They're all solid, so that means that they cannot boost any defenses, which I find interesting. Metallic special rule gives them -2 the amount of stun they take if a stun attack is done to them, and they've all got resistance to physical and energy. So some of the Parademons have some different rules, like Parademon 3's got brutal, but they've all got horde, solid, metallic, and resistance, and the Parademon 1 has the fly special rule. They're all 6 points, so between Darkseid being 25 points and 6 Parademons, each 6 points, that's 61 points on the nose. This is my 61 points worth of Justice League heroes list. It is led by Superman, Kal-El. He is 18 levels. He is a real bruiser, but he tends to be very strong in the physical and even in the energy attacks a little bit, but he's very susceptible to magic. But overall, he's a very strong character. He's got lots of hitboxes there. He's got some special skills. One is brutal. That means if you do a critical on a hit, you actually do get what you normally get 1 extra damage. You also get the ability to push up to 4 inches. So that's pretty good if you need to do some positioning. And when you're overloading his attacks generally, which I do, you get lots of chances for criticals there. He's got energy, which means you can overload an attack more than once and do different effects there. He's got fly, resistance 2 to energy and physical, thermal vision, which means he negates invisibility or stealth, and weakness to kryptonite, which we all are aware of, but kryptonite's not going to come into play in this game. We've also got Supergirl. She is 11 levels. She's got fly as well. Power Master, which allows you to add an additional +1 to any damage on an overloaded attack if you hit. Resistance 1 to physical and energy. She's got thermal vision again, sees or negates invisibility and stealth, and weakness to kryptonite as well. She's only 11 levels, so she's not quite as strong as Kal-El, but she's right up there, and she's a Kryptonian, so she's got the super punch and can really hit hard. She does not have energy, which is interesting, so she can't overload her attacks more than once. Next up, we've got Batman. He is 9 levels. He's pretty good. This is the Bruce Wayne Batman of the Justice League movie. So this is that guy in the armored Batman. He's got Master Tactician, Strategist, and Stealth, which will help him a lot. And he's going to get around quickly with his Batclaw and good stuff. So we'll see if we can get some good fisticuffs out of him. We've also got Hawk Girl and Hawk Man. So these guys are interesting. I like taking them in a pair because the Comrade Hawk Girl and the Comrade Hawk Man, respectively, allows them, it's a lot like Order. If you play them as a pair, and if the other one hasn't activated, you activate one, and the other one hasn't activated, you can activate them immediately. So you can actually kind of go out of turn order. And these guys, with their nth metal mace, can really put some hurt on people if you position them well. They fly as well. Immunity to fire. Master Fighter gives them a little edge in hand-to-hand, and they've got resistance 1 to energy, which is nice if any energy stuff comes towards them. And rounding up the Justice League heroes is Cyborg. You've seen him on the channel before. He's a pretty good all-rounder. I really like what he can do with his the White Sound Disruptor. It's irresistible and it stuns, so if you hit with that, that's really pretty powerful. It's a good little attack to have. So Cyborg rounds us out to 61 points, and that is the Justice League. All right, the scenario we're playing today is Scenario 3 from the main hardcover rulebook called Claim the City. Both sides have battled so that only a few remain. If they're to win this fight, each team knows what it has to summon reinforcements, but it will be possible enough to return the tide of the battle. So the point of this game is that as we've got deployments in the corners, you can split your deployments for each side, and the teams are going to run around and they're going to drop call for help beacons on the enemy or the opponent's side. If they can spend 1 power and pass a willpower check, they can place a beacon or a call marker per round. They can do 1 per round. The counter must be placed fully in the opponent's half of the table over the center line. Okay. Any model can also remove a call marker from their side by spending 1 power and playing a stamina roll. The victory conditions for this game are 1 victory point for each player for a call marker placed by their models, 1 victory point to the player with the most call markers in play at the end of the round. This is a victory condition checked at the end of each round, and 1 victory point for each enemy model incapacitated. So really what we're trying to do here is you're trying to place call markers. You're trying to keep the call markers that you place from getting removed, and you're trying to also incapacitate opponents. So placing call markers and keeping them on the board is going to be vital to the success of this mission. Okay, so for setup for this game, we've got dice allocated for the number of turns for the game. This game is 6 turns. So we've got 6 dice for the power bag or the initiative bag for the villains. We'll use gray for the villains, and we'll use red for the Justice League. However, Darkseid has a special power or a special skill called Mastermind, which means he gets to add 1 dice of his color, and we have to remove 1 dice of the Justice League. So that means that Darkseid and his team have a little bit of an edge in terms of getting initiative each turn. So that's probably going to be slightly advantageous for them this game. So I'll use these dice for the call markers as they drop. It doesn't matter what color we use on which side. It's really because the only ones that matter are going to be the Justice League has to place them on the villain side, and the villains have to place them on the Justice League side. So we'll know which ones are which, placed by which, because they'll be placed on the opposing side. So we're going to put those dice in the bag. We're going to deploy, and then we'll come back for their first turn. All right, we have deployed. So the Darkseid and the villains have deployed. All of the non-flying Parademons are here with Darkseid in this corner. I've got the 2 flying Parademons up there on the building. The idea there is that maybe they can fly over there behind that building and land some tokens there. The majority of the Justice League is over here. We've got Hawkman, Hawkgirl, Batman, and Cyborg over there. And we've got the Kryptonians up there on the building. Hopefully they can fly down. I'm sensing that they're going to make a play for Darkseid at some point, because he's the big bad, and they're really the ones that are going to put the hurt on them if anybody does. So a couple of housekeeping things before we get started. Hawkman and Hawkgirl have a special rule where you need to roll a d8 to see what their special power is for their reincarnation. So we're going to do that right here. So when they reincarnate, the star-crossed lovers reincarnate, and they get a special rule that goes with each time they reincarnate. So we're going to do that. So for Hawkman, we're going to say he is 3 +1 energy defense for him. Okay. And then so for Hawk Girl, we're going to say she's got 3 as well. So that means +1 energy defense. So they're feeling very energy defense today, which actually might be good since Darkseid's got that Omega beam. We'll see what happens there. So we've got the deployment. We've got everybody rolled up. We are ready to go into the bag to see who goes first. Turn priority on turn 1. Okay, turn 1. We're going to see who goes first with turn priority. So I'm going to reach into my bag. Gray dice is the villains. Red dice is Justice League. Who's going to get first turn? Justice League. Okay, first up, I'm going to activate Superman. I'm going to spend 3. He's at 10 power to begin with. I'm going to take that down to 7. He's going to fly off that building 15 inches. That's going to put him about there. We're just going to fly him down. He is out of range, and I'm pretty sure he is not halfway across the table just yet. Yeah, not halfway across the table. He's also not in range of any other enemy that he can attack, so he's just going to fly there, and he's going to hang out. All right, over to the villain's side. I'm going to activate this Parademon. That's a Parademon number 2. He has got 6 power. I am going to spend 2 power to run him, so he's now down to 4 power. His run is 8 inches. So that's going to put him right about there. There's nothing really he can do there, so he is just going to end his turn there, and we're going to go over to the Justice League. All right, next up, I'm going to activate Supergirl. She is at 8 power. I am going to fly her 15 inches, so that's going to bring her down to 5 power. So 15 inches. That puts her about right there. So I'm going to fly her down right there. And I don't think she's got line of sight or range to anybody else on anything, so that's going to be her activation for the turn. Okay, next up, I'm going to activate this Parademon. He's a Parademon 3. He's got 7 power. I'm going to spend 2 power and run him. So he's now at 5 power. He can run a total of 7 inches. So that's going to put him right behind that taxi. He doesn't have anything else in range or visible, so that's where I'm going to leave him. Okay, next up on the Justice League side, I am going to activate Hawkman. He is at power 7. I'm going to spend 3 to fly, which puts him at 4. So he's going to fly 12 inches. We're going to put him right there at the corner of that building. So he's going to fly right there. Okay, and since he is a comrade with Hawk Girl, I'm going to activate her next. She's at 7 power. I'm going to spend 3, take her down to 4. She is also going to fly 12. Right up next to her good pal, Hawkman. So she's going to land right there. So that is going to be the activation for the Justice League. Let's go over to the villains. All right, next up, I'm going to activate this Parademon number 1. He's got 6 power on him. My original thinking was to fly him down here, 13-inch fly down here, and then fire breathe on Superman. However, his fire breath does 2 damage. Superman's got energy resistance of 2. So while it might make him warm and cozy, it certainly wouldn't do any damage. And then Superman would come over and pummel him. The point of this mission, play the mission, is to get the call markers on there. So I'm going to let discretion be the better half of valor. I am going to spend 3 power. It's going to take him down to 3. He's going to fly 13, which basically puts him right on the edge of that building. So I'm going to fly him right there. And he's going to wait his turn, next turn, to get over to the other side of the map and drop a call marker. All right, next up for the Justice League, I'm going to activate Cyborg. He has currently got 8 power. I'm going to spend 3 to fly him up. So that's going to put him at 5. He's going to fly 11 inches to be with his buddies up there. So that's going to put him right about there. He's not in range with anything just yet, so that's just a move for him. We're going to leave him right there. We're going to go back over to the villains. Okay, next up for the villain side, I'm going to activate that Parademon number 3. He has got 7 power. I'm going to spend 2 to run him, so that's going to take him down to 5. He can run 7 inches, and we're going to be sneaky, try to run up this alleyway. 7 inches. That's going to put him right up to the curb there almost. There's really not much more he can do. There's no one within line of sight or within range of anything, so that's going to be his turn. We're going to move back over to the Justice League. All right, last up for the Justice League is Batman. So he is not quite close enough to Batarang to get to this building that's in front of him. So I'm just going to, this building right here, so I'm just going to run him. I'm going to spend 2 points and run him. That's going to take him down to 6 power. He can run 7 inches, which puts him right about there. So he's going to run right there. This guy over here is being a little bit sneaky, trying to go around. So Batman's going to come say hi to him. So he's going to stay there. He's not in range with his Batarang or with his grenade launcher, so he's going to stay put there. So now we're going to go over to the last few activations on the villain side. The other Parademon number 1, he's still up here on the building. I'm going to spend 3 power to have him fly. So he's at 6 power. Going to take him down to 3. He's going to fly 13 inches, and I'm going to try to start claiming more middle board space with him. So he's going to fly from his perch up here, right behind the garbage truck, and that's going to end his activation. All right, next up, I'm going to activate this Parademon. He is sitting on 6 power. I'm going to spend 2 to run. He's now at 4 power. He's going to run 8 inches. Which is going to put him right about there. So he's going to run right there. Nobody's really in range. So that's going to end his turn. So last up is the man himself, Darkseid. Let's see what we do with him. Last up for turn 1 is Darkseid, the ruler of Apocalypse. He is sitting on a massive 12 power. I'm going to spend 3 of that power to fly 13 inches. So that means he's got a big base, so we got to make sure we don't clobber anybody with it. So that's going to put him right about there. So he's going to fly right there. So actually I'm going to move him back just a tiny bit because I want him within 4 inches so that he can do power transference if I need to. That's close enough. His Fires of Apocalypse attack is 10 inches range, so he's not really in range with anybody right there. So I'm just going to leave him stay where he is. That is the end of turn 1. We're going to go back to the dice bag and see who gets turn priority for turn 2. All right, end of turn 1. This is the board state. The score is 0-0. No teams have placed call markers. No teams have removed any call markers. No team members have been incapacitated. So no points scored yet. This is the board state. Apocalypse team with Darkseid and some of his minions coming up the center here. We've got the Flyers kind of taking the middle with a pincher action. We've got Batman over here to defend the flank. We've got some of the Justice League coming up, trying to contest the middle. We've got Superman and the Supergirl over here protecting that flank. So this turn, I think, is we're going to come to blows. Let's see what happens going into turn 2. We're going to draw from the bag and see who gets priority. All right, it's top of turn 2. We're going to reach back into the dice bag to see who gets turn priority. Remember that Darkseid has got Mastermind. The odds are in favor of the villains. It's villains. All right, we're going to start with the villains, turn 2. Okay, kicking us off on turn 2, this Parademon number 1 is going to activate, and I'm going to spend 3 power. I've re-racked everybody's stack, so he's got 6 power to begin with. So he's going to spend 3 power to fly, and I've already pre-measured it. That puts him right around here or so. So I've already pre-measured that. Actually, it puts him right about there. I measured that. It was at this tile. So he's going to fly 13. Put him right there. All right. So now what has to happen in order to place a call marker, he has to roll a willpower check. So if I can roll, his willpower is 7. If I can roll 7 or lower on 2d8, he will place a marker. Oh, and he does. He rolls exactly 7. So he will place a call marker right in base-to-base contact with him. So he's placed that call marker, and we're going to move on to the Justice League. Over to the Justice League, Supergirl sees that Parademon, and she's having none of that. She's sitting on power 8 to begin the turn with, so she's going to spend 2, take her down to 6 power. She's going to run over there. It's about 6 inches away, and she's going to get into base-to-base contact with him. She is going to do a grab and throw, which is a physical attack. So her attack is 6. The defense on the Parademon is 16 on turn 1. It's plus 1 power, normally 15, but it's 16 for when he's in the gray. So she is attack 6. He is defense 16, so that means she needs 11 on 2d8 in order to pick him up and grab him. Now, since I really want that throw to connect, I'm going to overload it. So I'm going to add 1 dice. So I need 11 on 3d8. Let's see if I can make that happen. Oh my goodness. Not only do I make that happen, but it is a critical and she's a power master. So I get to add 1 to that. So normally a throw is damage strength -1. So her strength is 5. So it's 4. 5 for the crit, for 1 crit. 6 for another crit, and 7 for Power Master. So I'm going to throw him, and it's going to do 7 damage. So Parademons have resistance 1 to all physical attacks, so that's knocked down to 6 damage. He is still in the gray. Also note that Supergirl elected to do a throw, so I am actually electing to throw him 0 inches. I'm just spiking him like a football, so he is knocked down, so he's -3 to all defenses. He's taken 6 damage, still in the gray, and Supergirl is left on 2 power. I could try to do another Super Punch attack if I wanted to, but Darkseid is literally right there, so I'm not sure that I want to do that. So I think what I'm going to do is leave Supergirl on 2 power in case she needs to bolster or boost any defenses during this phase. So I'm going to leave it there. That Parademon is knocked down, -3 to all defenses, taking 6 damage, and we're going to move over to the villains. All right, next up for the villains, I'm going to activate that Parademon number 3. Really what I want to do is, I considered having him fly down here and fire breathe all 3 of these guys, but the Hawk people have immunity to fire. So that's not going to really do me much good. So really, I think I got to stick with my strategy. Really, what these Parademons need to do is they need to place markers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 3 power, and I'm going to fly him down here. I've pre-measured it, basically right there. And he's going to attempt to place a marker. Okay, in order to place a marker, I need to pass a willpower test, so I need to roll a 7 or lower for him. And I get it. It's a 6 total. So we will place a call marker right next to him. And that will be his turn. So my strategy I have thought of here is that the Justice League really needs to thin out the herd of these Parademons placing markers, because if I don't stop them, or if I don't thin out the Parademons, they're just going to keep placing markers. So I'm going to at least in the short term, I'm going to prioritize getting rid of some of the Parademons, particularly the flying ones, because they're going to run around and place markers. I can go back and clean them up. But I've got to stop them from just running wild over the board. So really what I'm thinking, I'm going to focus down on this Parademon right here. I'm going to have Hawkman come in and see if he can do a beatdown. Okay, I'm going to activate Hawkman, and he is going to spend 2 power. He's 7 inches away, so I'm going to spend 2 power and run up to that Parademon. Put him right there. Leave space for his girlfriend, Hawk Girl. And so he spent 2. That takes him down to 5 power. He is going to do a physical attack, or he's going to do a magic attack with his Nth Metal Mace. Okay, so the Nth Metal Mace is a magical attack. It costs 3. It does 2 damage. I'm going to spend 4 to overload that. So Hawkman is left on 1 power left. So I need his the defense on the Parademon is normally 13 for magic attacks. He's knocked down, so it's 10. So Hawkman's got an attack of 6. The defense is 10, so I need to beat a 10. So I need 5 or higher on 3d8 because I'm overloading it. Let's see if I can get a crit in there. No crit, but definitely hit. So the Nth Metal Mace does 2 damage. And I'm going to say that's the end of his turn. I'm going to leave him on 1 power. And so that definitely puts the Parademon into the pail. And so I'm going to also activate Hawk Girl using the Comrade rule, and she's going to fly up and do a similar beatdown as well. All right, I'm activating Hawk Girl. She is on 7 power. She's a little bit over 8 inches to get to that Parademon, so she's going to have to fly. So I'm going to spend 3 power, taking her down to 4. She flies over. Right there. And she is going to do a boot party as well. Okay, so the Parademon is defense 10. We've already established that. She's got 4 power. She's going to spend 3 power. I'm not going to overload this one. She's going to spend 3 power, and she needs to roll 5 or higher. Her attack is 6, so she needs to roll a 6 or higher in order to hit that Parademon with her Nth Metal Mace. And I get it. So that is an additional 2 points of damage to the Parademon. Still in the blue, or still in the pale. All right, for the villains, I am going to activate the man himself, Darkseid. So he is on 12 power. I'm going to spend 2 to have him run right there and get a line of sight to Supergirl. So now he is on 10 power. He is going to use... He despises Kryptonians. He is going to use his Omega Beam. It's going to cost him 7. So the target must make an agility roll. If the target fails the roll, it suffers 10 damage. If the target successfully passes the roll, it must repeat the same roll at the beginning of each activation until the roll is failed. So that's going to cost him 7 power. That's going to put him on 3. So now Supergirl, it's within range. It's a 14-inch range. So now Supergirl needs to pass an agility roll or she takes 10 damage. Okay, Supergirl is in the gray, so she's full health. Her agility is 9, so she needs to roll a 9 or lower on 2d8 to avoid taking 10 damage. Oh, she failed. She takes 10 damage immediately. That puts her in the pale. Oh, that is brutal. So she has taken the full brunt of the Omega Beam from Darkseid, and she is hurting for certain. All right, and to add insult to injury, Darkseid is going to do an energy blast. That costs him 3 and does 2 damage. So he's going to target Supergirl on that. It's a 2-inch expansive wave attack, so any models within 2 inches need to pass an agility roll or take 2 damage. So Supergirl's agility is now 8 based on taking all of that damage. So she needs an 8 or lower. She's fine. So she only takes 1 damage, but she is resistance 1 to energy, so she basically takes no damage from that. Hawkman, agility is 7, so he needs 7 or lower. He fails. He has resistance 1 to physical, but he does end up, so that means he takes 2 damage from that expansive wave attack. And Hawkgirl's agility is 9. So she also takes 2 damage from that. So 2 damage to Hawkman and Hawkgirl from that expansive wave attack. Darkseid has spent his stack. I think he's done plenty of damage this turn. We're going to move back over to the Justice League. Also note on that expansive wave attack, if you take full damage, you take the effects too. So that's push 2. So these both get pushed back 2 inches. That was a punishing turn from Darkseid. The Justice League need to respond. So instead of trying to get stuck in with Darkseid immediately, I think one way to keep those Parademons from doing as much damage as they can is to get Cyborg in there and start stripping some power off them with his stunning White Sound Disruptor. So he's going to activate. He's going to spend 3 to fly 11. Pre-measured that. That puts him right there. And he's going to use his White Sound Disruptor to see if we can pull some of the power off of those guys, so when they activate they can't do quite as much. Okay, Cyborg landed right there, so when he does his White Sound Disruptor, it costs him 4, taking his stack down to 1. We can get everybody in there. So everybody needs to take an agility roll, or lose. It's irresistible and does 2 damage and does stun 1. So let's do these in turn. So this guy needs a 7 or lower to resist damage. He's fine. So he only takes 1 damage, and does not get the effect of the stun. So this guy needs a 7. He fails. So 2 damage on him, and is stun 1. And so this guy, he fails as well. So 2 damage and stun 1. So not too bad. Get a little damage on those Parademons, and that is Cyborg's turn. He's left on 1 power for adjusting defenses as necessary. Alright, next up I'm going to activate this Parademon. He is going to spend 2. He got stunned a little bit, so he's only got 5 power. I don't think that's going to be that big of a deal. He's going to run up to here. He's going to spend 2 power. And he is going to do his breath weapon against poor old Cyborg. He decided to get up there and mix it up. So the Parademon is going to do him back with his fire breath weapon. Okay, Cyborg is agility 7. Let's see what happens. Oh, failed. He takes the full damage. Alright, so Cyborg takes 2 points of damage. Alright, let's get Superman in the action. He's going to come down here, and he's going to try to punish that Parademon. So it's a fly, so he's going to spend 3 to fly. It's 11 inches. He's going to fly to right there, and we're going to do some epic beatdown. Okay, so Superman is going to do a super punch. His attack is 6. The Parademon's defense is 16 against physical. So I need an 11 or higher to hit. The Parademon, of course, is solid, so he can't boost defenses. So given that Superman has the energy special rule, I can overload that twice. So I'm going to overload it once for a hit dice and overload it once for the additional damage effect. So I need 11 or higher on 3d8. Definitely got it. So that means no crit, unfortunately. That's unfortunate, but definitely hit. So that's going to do 6 damage to that Parademon. And given that the Parademons have 1 resistance to physical damage, so that's 5 total damage to that Parademon. Still in the gray, but hurt. Alright, next up I'm going to activate this Parademon. He is going to spend 2 to run. He got stunned and took a little bit of damage from the White Sound Disruptor from Cyborg, but he's going to run. I've pre-measured it. That puts him right there. And Cyborg kind of walked right into that, so I'm going to have this Parademon do his breath weapon as well. Cyborg needs a 7 or lower, to avoid full damage on that. Okay, need a 7. Ooh, nope. Cyborg takes 2 damage from that flame breath weapon. Alright, sneaky. Batman was coming over here to try to counter some of these Parademons, but I don't know that he can do a whole lot by himself in terms of combat against a big horde of these guys. So actually, I'm going to try to be sneaky. That's what Batman does. So he's going to use his once per game Bat Claw, and he's going to repel all the way up here. So that's going to take him 3 power, I believe. I think I have to check my card on that. So that counts as a move. So also, he is going to... We're over the half line on the map for the Justice League. So he's actually going to try to put a power beacon right there. My bad. The Bat Claw repels him up there. It costs 2. So now he's on 6 power. So he's got an incredible willpower. So he's good at placing some of these call markers. So I'm going to spend 1 power, take him down to 7, and I'm going to see if he can place a call marker, 10 or lower. Got it. So we're going to put a call marker on here. And that's interesting because someone's going to have to fly up there and deactivate it. Okay, after placing that call marker, that puts Batman on 5 power. Now he's got a grenade launcher that's range 8 inches. So I'm going to shoot that since it's a magical attack. So the Batarang, I was thinking about doing the Batarang, but the Batarang only does 1 damage, and these guys have resistance 1 to physical attacks. But these guys only have a 13 magic defense, and that's what the grenade launcher does. So I'm going to do the grenade launcher attack against that Parademon. Okay, so the grenade launcher costs 3, so that takes him down to 2 power. I'm going to overload that, so it takes him down to 1 power. So his attack is 7. Parademon's defense is 13, so I need to get 1 higher than 13, so that's going to be a difference of 6. So I need 6 or higher, so I need 7 or higher, excuse me, on 3d8 to see if he hits. Let's see what happens. Connect. Definitely hits. No crit, unfortunately, but that's going to do 2 damage to the Parademon, and that actually ensnares him. So that Parademon takes 2 points of damage and is ensnared. Ensnared means loses 1 speed for the remainder of the turn. So he's all of his movements is -1. Okay, so that was Batman. That was a pretty good showing for him. All right, we're going to move over to the villains. We've just got a couple of Parademons left, I think, over here. And I think the Justice League is out of activation. So that's going to be it. We're going to move over to the villains and do the last 2 activations there. All right, this Parademon's going to activate. He's going to spend 2 power to run. This is the guy that didn't get stunned by the white sound disruptor. So 6 inches puts him right there into base to base with Cyborg, and he is going to do some claw attacks. Okay, the Parademon's attack value is 5. Cyborg's defense is 15, so Cyborg's going to spend 1 point, his last remaining power point for this turn, to boost his defense to physical defense to 17. So that means the attack difference is 12, so I need a 13 or higher. The claws cost 2. I'm going to overload that to cost 3 and get another dice. So that's going to give that Parademon 2 power left. So I need a 13 or higher on 3 dice to connect with Cyborg. 7, 11, 12. Nope, just missed. Okay, so that Parademon still has 2 power left. I'm going to spend his stack. There's no reason not to with Parademons. Since they're solid, they can't bolster their defenses. So 2 more points for a claw attack. I need 13 or higher on 2 dice. Nope, missed. Okay, so that Parademon does not connect with Cyborg. Okay, the last Parademon is here. He's got 7 power. He is going to run, spend 2 power to run up to here. And then he is going to try to place another call marker. His willpower is 7. So I need 7 or lower on 2d8 to see if he can drop that call marker. No, actually he fails. So he does not drop that call marker. Okay, so that's all the activations for turn 2. Let's do a quick recap to see what the score is at the end of this turn. Okay, end of turn 2, the board state is as follows. Justice League has placed this call marker right there, so that's +1 victory point for them. They've not incapacitated any models, so that's just 1 for them. The villains have placed that call marker and that call marker, so that's 2 for them. Also at the end of each turn, it's +1 victory point for the side that has the most call markers, so that's 3 victory points for the villains, 1 victory point for the Justice League. So we're 3-1 at the end of turn 2. Justice League has got to start placing some markers. I might need to adjust my strategy there. So we're going to go into the dice bag draw for turn 3 to see who gets priority. Scores 3-1. Okay, so we're at the end of the turn, and that Parademon has suffered enough damage. He's in the pale zone, so he needs to take a knockout roll. So his stamina is 9, so I need 9 or lower on 2d8. He is just fine. So also, Supergirl is in the pale. She needs to take a knockout roll as well. Her stamina is 10. Let's see how she does. Oh, barely. Oh, barely. She made it with no room to spare. So they are both standing up. And my mistake earlier, I said they were -3 to all defenses when they were knocked down. They're actually -2, so I'll rectify that in future turns. But so both the Parademon and Supergirl are still standing at the end of this turn. Okay, we're at turn 3. We got to reach into the dice bag and see who gets turn priority. I think we're still Looking at the villains to have more dice in there. Let's see who we get. Justice League gets turn priority, turn 3. Okay, first up on the Justice League side, I am going to activate Hawkman. And that Parademon only has 4 wounds left, so I'm going to see if I can actually do some damage to him. So Hawkman's got 7 power. I'm going to walk up to the Parademon. And then I'm going to do a grab and throw, and I'm going to try to spike him like a football. Actually, that Parademon is already down, so I don't know that it really matters for me to throw. I think maybe I'm just going to try to hit him. Alright, so that Parademon is down, and with his defense is at -2 because it's knocked down. His supernatural defense is only 11. Normally it's 13. So I'm going to have Hawkman do an Nth Metal Mace. That's going to cost him 3. And I need his attack is 6. I need to get a 12, so I need 6 or higher on 2 dice. I'm actually going to spend the money. No, I'm going to try to do 2 attacks. So 6 or higher on 2 dice. Oh, I got it. Thank goodness. All right. So that is 2 damage to the Parademon. So he's got 2 damage left. All right, I'm going to spend the rest of my stack. I'm going to do another green attack of Nth Metal Mace on that Parademon and see if I can wipe him out. So I need 6 or higher on 2 dice. I got it. So that Parademon is dead. Okay, next up, I'm going to use the Comrade rule on Hawkman and activate Hawk Girl. I'm going to have her spend 1 power to walk up to that call marker right there, and I'm going to use another 1 power to see if I can deactivate it. Okay, so she walked up there. She's now base to base with that call marker. In order to remove that call marker, I need to roll a stamina check. Her stamina is 7, so I need I need to roll 7 or less on 2d8. Nope. So she didn't get that roll, but she also can place a marker using willpower. Her willpower is 8, so I need to roll 8 or less to place a marker of my own. Whoa, got it. Okay, so she is able to place a marker of her own. She is at half board length, so I'm going to put a marker right there, and that's going to be, she's left on 4 power. I think I'm going to try to do an attack. Okay, so she's got 4 power left. Now, this isn't ideal, but I can actually do an attack. This Parademon is a little under 4 inches away. I can do a death from above attack. That's a red power once per game. It's going to cost me 4. It's damage 4, range 4, and ensnare 2. So if I hit, I'll get that effect to slow that Parademon down. But basically, his magic defense is 13. I've got an attack of 6. That means I need an 8 or higher. That would give me 14, that's right. So I need an 8 or higher on 2d8 in order to hit. Let's see if we can connect. Oh yeah! Connect! So that's 4 damage and ensnare 2 to that Parademon. And that's going to be her turn. She's out of juice. We're going to give it back over to the villains. Okay, next up for the villains, I'm going to activate this Parademon. I'm going to keep on with that strategy of having them just fly around and see if they can keep away from Superman and the Kryptonians and just drop call marker. So that's going to put him right about there. So he's going to fly right there. All right, now he needs to do a willpower check in order, so that cost him 3. He needs to do a willpower check to drop a marker, so that's 7. So I need to roll 7 or lower to drop a marker right here. Didn't get it. All right, so he can only try to drop once, so that is him for the turn. He's spent 4 power with the fly and the attempt to drop a marker, and that's going to be his turn. Okay, we're over to the Justice League. We've got a golden opportunity here. These guys are all lined up for Cyborg, and he's got some close-in range attacks with the White Sound Disruptor and the Total Disruption power. He can just mosey on over to here. He'll spend 1 power to walk 4. which is going to put him right about there. That puts him in range, so that's going to cost him 1, so he's down to 7 power. He's going to spend 3 power, which is going to put him at 4, to do total disruption. Okay, so once Cyborg moves here, he can use his power Total Disruption, which is a red power once per game, costs him 3. All characters within 4 inches will get stunned too. So these 3 Parademons and Darkseid will all get stunned too. And there's no agility check for that one. It does an immediate stun too. So that means Darkseid goes down to 10 power. This Parademon goes down to 5. This Parademon goes down to 4. That Parademon goes down to 4. And that is a great little use of that power since they're all so close to him. Cyborg still has 4 power left, so he's going to try to do the White Sound Disruptor. I can get all of these guys right here. Let's make sure that I'm doing that accurately. Okay, actually, as I relook at that, I can't actually get all 3 of these guys unless I get Hawk Girl too. So I'm just going to go for Darkseid and that one Parademon. So they need to make agility checks or else they suffer the effects of 2 damage. It's irresistible and it's stun 1. So Darkseid, let's start with him. His agility is 8, so I need 8 or less to avoid the full damage. He does not avoid full damage, so it's 2 damage to Darkseid, and he is stun 1. So that puts him down to 9 power. That's actually really good for the Justice League because you don't want him to have his full stack of power. All right, this guy, his agility is 7. So I need 7 or lower on 2d8 to see if he gets the full effect. No. So he actually gets stun 1 as well. So he's down to 3 power. Well, that's a really good effect for him. And he will take 2 damage as well, which puts him in the pale. So he'll need to do a knockout check at the end of the turn. Okay, next up for the villains, I'm going to activate this Parademon. He's going to run, spend 2 power and run. He can run for 7, which is basically just going to put him right there. All right, so he spent 2, so he's got 5 left. He is now going to spend another 1 and try to place a call marker. His willpower is 7, and I'm going to try to roll 7 or lower on 2d8. He got it. So he is going to place a call marker right there, and that's his turn. Okay, next up for the Justice League, I am going to take Supergirl. She is badly wounded, but she's still in the game. She's sitting on 7 power because she's in the pale. She's going to spend 2 power to run up and get in base-to-base contact with that Parademon. That's going to cost her 2. She's down to 5 power now. She's going to do a grab and throw on that Parademon. All right, his physical defense is 16. Supergirl's attack is 6. That means I need to get 11 or higher. I'm going to spend a point to overload that. So that's going to take me down to 1 power left. I'm going to overload that throw. So I need 11 or higher on 3d8 to grab and throw him. Got it. All right, no crit, unfortunately, but that does connect. Okay, Supergirl's strength is 5. So that means the throw does strength minus 1 damage. So he's going to take 4 damage. He has got resistance 1, so that's going to go down to 3 damage total. She can throw him 10 inches. Really, the name of the game here is to keep the Parademons away from my zone and continuing to drop those call markers. So I'm going to drop him. She's going to throw him and knock him down right there. And he's going to take 3 damage. And that's going to be her turn. All right, next up for the Justice League, I'm going to activate Batman. He's going to stay up there, and he's going to make somebody come to him. So he is only going to walk. He's going to spend 1 to walk. Takes him down to 7 power. He's going to walk 4 inches. He's going to move right there. And he is going to do a willpower roll to see if he can drop another call marker. His willpower is 10. Let's see if I can get 10 or higher on 2d8. Connect. Got 10. All right, so I can drop a call marker right there, and that is getting the Justice League back into action. Let's see if he's in range to do any attacks or any fun stuff. All right, so Batman has 7 power left. I'm going to try to throw a bunch of batarangs at that Parademon. He's currently sitting at physical defense 17 because he's still in the gray. He gets +1 defense for physical, so that's 17. Batman's attack is 7. That means I need 11 to hit on 2d8. So for the first one, I'm actually going to overload that. So that leaves him at 4 power. I'm going to use 3d8 and try to get 11 on 3d8. Hits. So that's 10, 11, 12. So that Parademon takes 1 damage and is ensnared 1. So I'm going to try to do that again. I can't overload it again, so I'm just going to spend the 2 power, putting him on 2 power again. 11 or higher on 2d8 this time. Misses. All right, I've got 1 more power, or 2 more power. I'm going to try 1 more shot with the Batarang. Let's see if I can connect on 11. Nope. All right, so 1 damage and ensnare 1 on that Parademon, and that is Batman's turn. All right, over to the villain side. I'm going to activate that Parademon, and he's going to spend 2 to run. He's already been stunned a little bit, so he's only got 4 power, so I can move him up to here with a run. He's got 2 power left, and I'm going to spend 1 power to try to drop a call marker. His willpower is 7, so I need 7 or lower on 2d8. Nope, doesn't get it. All right, so that's his turn. Back over to the Justice League. We're going to activate him, sitting on 10 power. I really could get up to Darkseid if I wanted to. I've got the range to fly, but I really have to kill these Parademons to stop dropping all of these call markers. That is the mission. As much as I want Superman to go beat down Darkseid, I need to play the mission. So he's going to spend 3 to fly. That's 13 inches. Put him right there. And he is going to... Let me see what kind of attack I want to do with him. All right, Superman now base to base with this Parademon. This Parademon is normally 15 defense. He's in the gray, so he's 16. So his physical defense is 16. My attack is 7, base 6, +1 because I'm in the gray. So I need a 10 or higher on 2d8. I'm going to overload that once to hit, so I'll add a dice, and I'm going to overload it again, do the energy roll to hit to get +3 damage on the overload. So I need 10 or higher on 3d8. Got it. No crit, unfortunately. So that's 11. Barely got it, thank goodness. So that does 6 physical damage to the Parademon. Parademon's got 1 physical resistance, so a total of 5 damage to that Parademon. That leaves Superman on 1 power, and that's his turn. Okay, Superman's got 1 power left. I'm not really worried about anybody attacking him this turn, so I'm not going to keep that power to spare my defenses, even though Darkseid's over there, probably going to make a beeline for me. I don't know, but I need to drop a call marker. So Superman's willpower is 9, so I need 9 or less on 2d8. Oh my god, barely got it. Oh my god, that was clutch. Okay, so Superman drops a call marker right there, and that's his turn. All right, next up for the villains is I'm going to activate this Parademon. He's got 5 power, so it's no problem for him to run 7 here. Going to put him right there, and he's going to try to drop a call marker. So he has a willpower of 7, so I need to roll 7 or higher on 2d8 to see if he can drop that. 7 or lower, excuse me, 7 or lower. He does not make it. He does not get to drop that call marker. And so that's going to be, oh boy, that was, so 2 to run puts him at 3. 1 for the call marker puts him at 2. He can't really do his fire breath. He needs 3 power for that. So that's why the stun, the sonic disruption, and all the stun markers on these guys are so effective. So no power mark or no call marker for him. That everybody on the Justice League have gone, so we're going to last but not least go to Darkseid. Darkseid. The closest threat that's the most wounded that he could actually potentially take out of the game is Supergirl at this point. So he is going to spend he's on 9 power because he got Sonic disrupted and all that good stuff from Cyborg. He's going to spend 1 power and walk up to Supergirl. He is now going to, so that's 1, so he's got 8 power left. He's going to spend 4 power on Godstrike. That costs 4. It does 4 damage, and Overload does plus 2 damage. So his attack is 6. Supergirl's physical defense is 15. She's got 1 power left. She's going to spend that power to boost her defenses. So she's now on 17 defense. So that means Darkseid has an attack of 6. She's defense 17. That means he needs 12 or higher on 2d8. So he's going to overload that. So that means he's down to 5 power. I need 12 or higher on 3d8 to hit Supergirl. And I got it. Definitely got it. So that is not only... Well, I overloaded to hit, so it's only 4 damage. She has resistance 1 damage, so that gives her 3 damage. Okay, so Supergirl now is in the dark, which means I need to make an immediate KO check. Her stamina is 10, so I need to roll 10 or lower to stay awake. Just barely. So she is still hanging on. She's got 3 health boxes left. Has got 4 more gas left in the tank. He can't overload another Godstrike, but he can do another one. Since Supergirl is in the dark, it's -1 to all of her defenses, so she's now 16 defense. Darkseid is... Actually, I made a mistake. He's +1... he's +1 attack because he's in the gray, so he would have hit anyways. But he's actually at attack 7 right now because he's +1 because he's in the gray. So that means he needs a 10 or higher on 2 dice. I can't overload this one because I don't have enough power. So I need 10 or higher on 2 dice to hit Supergirl for 4 damage. This will put her out of the game if I hit 10 or higher. Hits her, and she is out. We've got 2 Parademons that are in the pail. The flying Parademon over there is in the pail, so he needs to make a stamina check or be knocked out. So 9 or lower. He's actually knocked out. That Parademon is knocked out at the beginning of turn 4. Now we need to check for this Parademon as well. He is in the pail, so his stamina is 9 as well. So 9 or lower to stay afloat. He's fine. So he is not knocked out. So that Parademon over there is knocked out, and we will come back with turn 4. Okay, the end of turn 3. Let's take a look at the board state. The Justice League has 1, 2, 3, 4 call markers placed. So that's 4 points, plus they have more call markers placed because the villains have 3. So that's 4 points for the call markers, 1 point for more, which makes it 5, and then 1 point for the Parademon that got taken out by Hawkman. So that's additional 6 points. They had 1 point from the previous turn, so now they're at 7 points. The villains have 3 call markers. They do not have more, so it's just 3, plus 1 for Darkseid taking out Supergirl, so they get an additional 4 points. From the 3 points they had from the previous turn, that gives them 7 points as well. So at the top, or at the bottom of turn 3, we are tied at 7 points. We're going to go into the dice bag to see who gets turn priority in turn 4. We are moving on to turn 4. Let's reach into the dice bag and see who's got turn priority. Justice League has gotten priority 2 turns, and villains have gotten 1. They're still up to the villains. Villains, priority for turn 4. All right, turn 4, first activation for the villains. The first thing I'm going to try to do is activate this knocked out Parademon. He's got a stamina 9. In order to do anything, I have to pass this, so I need 9 or lower on 2d8. Oh, I do not get it. He is still knocked out, so that activation is wasted. He's going to stay knocked out. We're going to move over to the Justice League. All right, next up for the Justice League, I'm going to activate Cyborg. He has 8 power. He's going to fly over to this Parademon, costing him 3 power. That's going to put him on 5, and he's going to do some attacks. All right, Cyborg's going to attempt a grab and throw on that fallen Parademon. So normally that Parademon's physical defense would be 16. It's +1 because he's in the gray, so 17, but -2 because he's knocked down. So that is a total of 15. Cyborg's attack is 6. So he needs a 10 or higher on 2 dice. So I'm actually going to overload that grab and throw. It's going to cost him 4, leaving him 1 power. So I need 10 or higher on 3d8 to grab and throw that fallen Parademon. Connects. All right, grabbed and thrown. He is strength 3, so that means he can throw him 6 inches, and that will do 2 damage to that Parademon. So he threw him 6 inches to there, try to get him as far away from the center of the line of the map as possible. So actually it only does 1 damage because strength 3 -1 for a throw attack, so that's 2, but it's also -1 because they've got resistance 1 to physical attack. So 1 damage, but really the key there is that he is thrown way out of left field so that he's going to hopefully be out of the game for a little bit on turn 4. That leaves him with 1 power, and I'm going to try to place a call beacon. Cyborg is willpower 8. He needs an 8 or lower on 2d8 to drop a call beacon. Gets it. All right, so 1 more call beacon for Cyborg placing right there, and that's going to be his activation. He's left on 0 power. Next up for the villains, I'm going to activate that Parademon. He's got 6 power. He's going to spend 2 to run. I've pre-measured that. That puts him right there. And he's going to attempt to drop another call marker. His willpower is 7, so I need to roll 7 or lower on 2d8 to see if he can drop that call marker. Oh my goodness, just missed it. Oh man, that is rotten luck for the villains. That's his activation. We're going to move on to Justice League. All right, next up for the Justice League, I'm going to activate Hawk Girl. She's sitting right next to a call marker. I'm going to see if I can deactivate that. Her stamina is 7. Let's see if I can get 7 or higher on 2d8. Or 7 or lower, excuse me. Nope, can't do it. So she was sitting on 7 power. She's now down to 6. She didn't get rid of that call marker, which is a bummer. But she hasn't gotten one. No one's gotten rid of one yet all this game. So let's see what else we can do. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spend 1 to walk 4. That can put her right there. So that means she's got 5 power left. And she is going to attempt to do an attack. All right, Hawk Girl's attack is 6. She's going to do an Nth Metal Mace attack, which is a magical attack or supernatural attack. This Parademon's supernatural defense is 13, so I need an 8 or higher on 2 dice in order to connect with that. So I'm not going to try to overload that because I'm going to try to do more than, well, I can't even do more than 1 attack, so I might as well overload it. So I'm going to spend 1 to overload it, so that's going to be 14. See if we can get a crit. So, or sorry, it's going to leave 1 power for her, not 14. So she's spending 4 power to do an overloaded Nth Metal Mace attack. She's got 1 power left. She needs 8 or higher on 3d8. Definitely hits, no crit, unfortunately. So that is 2 damage to the Parademon. So actually, she is a master fighter. So I'm going to go crit fishing. See if I can bump that up to 3. So I'm going to take that 3. I still hit no matter what. No crit. All right, so 2 damage to that Parademon. She's left on 1 power. I am going to try to place another marker. So that cost me 1 power. I've got to make a willpower check. Her willpower is 8. Let's see if I can do it. Got it. So another power call marker for the Justice League. All right, Hawk Girl is going to invoke the Comrade special rule, and I'm going to activate Hawkman. He starts on 7 power. He's going to walk for 1 point. That's going to put him at 6. He is also going to do an attack. He's going to do an nth metal mace attack. That's going to be 3 cost, 2 damage, supernatural. I'm going to overload that as well. It's going to put him at 2 power left. And let's see, I'm going to overload that. He is also a master fighter. Let's see if he can connect. I need, his attack is 6. So I need an 8 as well. So let's see if we can connect. Yes, connected, as well as a crit. So I already hit. I can, as a master fighter, I can re-roll 1 dice. So that's 3 damage based on the crit. Let's see if I can get another 7. Nah. Okay, so that's 3 damage to that Parademon. He is looking very worse for wear. Okay, that Parademon is in serious trouble. He's really hurt. He's actually on his last health box there. So he needs to roll an immediate KO check. So his stamina is 9, I want to say. Yep, 9. So I need to roll 9 or lower on 2d8 to stay conscious. Yep, he's standing tall. No problems there. He's only got 1 health left. All right, so Hawkman has 2 power left. He is going to try to drop another call marker. Okay, Hawkman's willpower is 8. I need 8 or lower on 2d8. Nah, doesn't seal the deal. So no call marker for him, and that's going to end Hawkman's turn. He's left on 1 power. Over to the villains. All right, so villain's turn. This Parademon is going to move. He's going to activate, so I'm going to run him over here. Kind of a little hidey spot. And I'm going to just try to have that spends him 2. So now he was at 7, now down to 5 power. He's going to spend 1 to try to place a call beacon. His willpower is 7. Let's see if he can do it. 7 or lower. No luck. Oh man, that's the worst he could have rolled. So no call beacon for that Parademon. Back over to the Justice League. All right, over to the Justice League. I'm going to activate Batman. He is going to spend 1 power to walk just right over here, and he is going to attempt to drop another call beacon. His willpower is 10. Can he do it? I need to roll 10 or lower on 2d8. No problem. So he drops a power beacon. I've run out of d6s, so I'm going to put this little d12. I'm going to put it right there. Another call beacon for the Justice League, and I think he's going to try to do some damage to that Parademon. Okay, so that Parademon has 1 health remaining, and he's resistance 1. So that puts Batman in a little bit of a bind. He could do a Batarang, but it only does 1 point of damage with no overload to increase the damage on that. So he's going to have to use his grenade launcher, which does 2 damage, physical. Well, it's actually an energy attack. So yeah, that's explosive. That's going to hit the Hawk friends, but they've got resistance of 1 to physical. That's not a physical attack, it's a magic attack. 2 damage on, potentially 2 damage, at least 1 damage on each of them to potentially get rid of that Parademon. It's worth it, and it's Batman. He's angry Batman, let's call it that. Yeah, so Batman's attack is 7. The Parademon's supernatural defense is 13. So that means he needs a 7 or higher on 2d8. It's going to cost him 2. It's going to cost him 3, excuse me. So actually, I'm going to overload that to make sure that I hit. So that's going to leave him on 2 power. So that's 3d8. I need attack 7. So I need 7 or higher to hit a 13 against supernatural defense of that Parademon. 7 or higher to do the deed. For sure. Okay, and actually a critical too. So that means that Parademon is dead. Now we also have to check to see if there's splash damage on the Hawk friends. Okay, agility roll for Hawkman to see if he avoids the bat grenade launcher damage. So 7 or lower. Ooh, no, he takes full damage. So he takes 2 damage. Hot Girl has an agility of 9. 9 or lower to see if she avoids damage. She does avoid damage. So Hawk Girl takes 1 point of damage, Hawkman takes 2. I'm sure they're going to remember their friend Batman by the end of the battle, but that Parademon is gone. A little bit of splash damage on the Hawk friends, and we're going to move over to the villains. Okay, over to the villains. I'm going to activate this Parademon. He's going to spend 1 power to stand up. He's not knocked out, he's just knocked down. So he stands up. That's going to cost him 1 power. And then let's see, he's going to move up. It might be fun for him to breathe on Cyborg. Anyways, he's going to run for 2. That's going to put him at 4 power. Alright, that's going to put that Parademon right there. And so it is definitely time to do the Flame Breath weapon. If I can actually show this on camera decently. So definitely within range. He's going to spend a 3 power to do that. So that's going to leave him on 1. So that means Cyborg needs to do an agility check to avoid damage. Cyborg is agility 7. Let's see if he can seal that deal. Oh, he gets it barely. So he still takes 1 damage, but he doesn't take the full damage. Full damage is 2. So 1 damage to Cyborg, and that is that Parademon's turn. Okay, this Parademon has 1 power left. We gotta start placing some markers on here, or the Justice League is gonna run away with the points here. So 1 power. Try to do a call marker placement. Willpower of 7 or less. Nope, didn't get it. Okay, Justice League. I think Superman is going to finish the job here. That Parademon is knocked out. He's only got 4 hitboxes left. So he's -4 to all defenses. Superman's just going to stay put. He is going to do a super punch. I'm going to overload. Let's see if I need to overload. Hold on. So he is at 10 power. It'll take 4 power to do a super punch. He is attack 7. So defense 11. He'd need a 5 or higher on 2d8, which is pretty good odds. And that would do 3 damage. I'm going to overload that once for damage, so I need 5 or higher. So that's going to cost him 5 power. You know what? I might as well just... Yeah, I'm going to try that. I'm going to press my luck here a little bit. 5 power to do a super punch with Superman and overload for 3 damage. So I need 5 or higher on 2d8. Got it. All right. So that does 6 damage to the Parademon. -1 because of the physical resistance, but that doesn't matter because that's 5 damage. He's only got 4, so that Parademon is dead. Alright, Superman has dispatched that Parademon, so next up he is going to spend 2 power to run over to this one and see if we can do something. Alright, this may not be the best of ideas, but Superman's got 3 power left. That Parademon is 17 physical defense. 16 normally, +1 because he's in the gray. So that means Superman is attack 7, 17 defense. That means I need an 11 or higher to do a grab and throw. I'm going to try to do a grab and throw of that Parademon with Superman. So let's see if I can get 11 or higher on 2d8. Nope. So that's the rest of his power. That's the end of Superman's turn. And we're going to go over to the villains. The only guy left is the big guy himself, Darkseid. Let's see what he does. It is now Darkseid's turn. As much as he wants to go beat down the Hawk friends, he knows what his mission is. The foolish Batman has been allowed to place call markers with reckless abandon, and Darkseid is no longer having any of his foolishness. So Darkseid is going to spend 3 power to fly 13 inches up to be friends with the Batman. So 13 power, spent 3 to fly up there. He's in contact with 2 of those markers. He's saying hello to Batman. Let's see what happens. So first things first, Darkseid has to start removing some of these call markers. His stamina is 12. So I need a 12 or lower on 2d8. to remove one of those call markers. Barely success. So we're going to remove one call marker. Let's just take this one. So he did that. Now, Batman has been operating with impunity on top of this building. Darkseid, having enough of his tomfoolery, is going to attempt a grab and throw of the armored Batman off the top of this building. Darkseid declares a grab and throw of Batman. Batman's defense is 16. He's sitting on 2 power, so he's going to spend 1 power to increase his physical defense, defensive stance of physical, to 18. So that means Darkseid needs, he's got an attack of 7, so that means Darkseid needs a 12 or higher on 2d8 in order to do a grab and throw. So I'm going to boost that attack to gain an additional dice. Darkseid needs 12 or higher on 3d8. He got it with a crit as well. Oof. So Batman gets thrown 12 inches off that rooftop. We're going to have to take into consideration fall damage too. So strength 6 attack. So that's 5 damage normally from the attack. We're going to move him 12 inches and see what fall damage we do as well. Okay, Darkseid successfully connects with a grab and throw on Batman. So 5 damage based on it being a strength 6 attack, thrown 12 inches and knocked down. Puts him right there. So 5 damage just from the strength of the attack, plus 1 because Darkseid is a power master for 6, and another 2 damage for the fall of 7 inches. So that's a total of 8 damage to Batman. He is knocked down and hurting for certain. He is definitely in the pale. Darkseid is sitting on 6 power left. Let's see what he does. Darkseid is standing next to another call marker that the Justice League has placed. He's going to try to remove that. He can remove as many as you want. You can only place 1 per turn. You can try to remove as many as you want. Spend 1 power to try to remove that willpower of 12. Can he do it? 2d8. Got it. That power marker is removed. All right. Darkseid still has 5 power, and unfortunately I've positioned him such that he doesn't have line of sight to anybody else, which is a little bit of a bummer. Because he's got all that power and he can't really do anything with it. But I can do one last thing. I can attempt to drop his own call marker. So he has a willpower of 10. Let's see if he can drop a call marker. No problem. So he's going to put a call marker. His base is wide enough to put it on his side of the board. So that's going to be Darkseid's turn, and that's going to be the end of turn 4. Let's tally up where we're at. Okay, the only model that's in the pale is poor Batman. He is sitting in the pale by 2 damage points. So let's see if he can stay in the game. Let's roll knockout for him. So his stamina is 10. So 2d8. Need to roll 10 or less on 2d8 to stay awake. Oh, he is knocked out. And I'm not surprised. Being flung off a 2-story building by Darkseid, many meters away, has knocked him out. Okay, it's turn 4, and let's see where we're at. The Justice League is really turning the tides here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 call markers. So that's 5 points to the Justice League. I can tell you right now they've got more. So that's 6 points to the Justice League. They also knocked out 2 Parademons, so that's 8 additional points for the Justice League. Now let's take a look at the villains. They've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 call markers. They do not have more call markers, and they did not knock anybody out, or they did not take anybody out of the game by the end of the turn, so they get 4 more points. So it was tied at 7. The Justice League is now at 15. The villains are now at 11. So it's a 4-point difference in the game. Okay, turn 5. We're going into the dice bag to see who gets priority this turn. Let's see who we get. Villains again. All right, top of turn 5, going into the villain turn. First activation for the villains. I'm going to activate that Parademon. He's just going to walk over here and he is going to try to drop a call marker. I need a 7. Willpower 7. Doesn't get it. Oh my goodness. So no dropped call marker for him. We're going to move over to the Justice League. Justice League. I'm going to try to activate Batman and see if we can wake him up. His stamina is 10. Oh, he is still knocked out and forfeits his activation. Back over to the villains. All right, next up for the villains, I'm going to activate this Parademon. He's got 6 power. He's going to spend 2 to run around this. I've pre-measured it. It basically puts him right there. Hopefully, next turn he can move up if he doesn't get thrown or something. I just don't want to keep him hanging around Cyborg and getting more damage. I need him moving up the field, so we're going to put him there. He is not... I don't believe he is halfway across the table yet, so I don't think he can place a marker, but let me measure that and make sure. He is just short of center table, and also his flame breath weapon won't really do much good there because the Hawk friends are immune to fire. So that's not going to do him a whole lot of good. So he's just going to activate there, move there, and hopefully next turn he can move across the board and put another call marker. All right, over to the Justice League. The time is now. If there's ever going to be a time, I've got the 2 Hawk friends there. I've got Superman here. Batman is KO'd and not near him. Like, this is the closest I'm probably going to get all 3 of them to Darkseid, so they're all going to try to make a move and attack Darkseid. So I'm going to start with Hawkman. He's going to activate first. Okay, I'm going to activate Hawkman. He's sitting on 7 power. He's going to activate and fly for 3. He's going to fly up here and be right next to Darkseid. And he is going to use his once per game Death from Above. Alright, Darkseid's supernatural defense is 14. Hawkman is attack 6. That means Hawkman needs a 9 or higher on 2d8. And I don't have enough gas in the tank to overload this, so I need a 9 on 2d8. Let's see what happens. Got it! Right on. Okay, so Hawkman does 4 damage, and that's really important because Darkseid has physical energy and mental resistance of 2, so magic attacks are actually really the only way, not the only way, but the best way to do damage on him. So Darkseid takes 4 damage from Hawkman's once per game Death from Above attack. Hawkman is going to use the Comrade special rule for Hawkgirl. She's going to activate next. She is going to spend, she's got 7 power, she's going to spend 3 to fly up and join her lover up here and attacking Darkseid. She has already used her once per gamer, so she's going to attempt to hit him with her nth metal mace. Her attack is 6. It is a magical attack, so I need 9s again. So it costs 3. I'm going to try to overload this one. So that's going to cost her 4 power. So that's going to put her on nothing. So I'm going to overload that. Let's see if she can hit with an overloaded nth mace attack. So I need 9 or higher on 3d8. You've got to be kidding me. She completely whiffed. All right, next up, I'm going to activate this Parademon. He is going to run for 8 inches. I'm going to put him right there. And we're going to see if he can do a place of a call marker. 7 or lower. Got to roll the right dice. We're going to see if he can place a call marker. 7 or lower. Unbelievable. These guys cannot place call markers to save their life. So he does nothing and turns the turn over back to the Justice League. All right, Justice League, it's time for Superman and Darkseid to say hello. He's going to spend 3 power, starts at 10, be at 7. He's going to fly up and get base-to-base contact with Darkseid, and he's going to do an attack. All right, Superman is going to do a super punch against Darkseid. So he is attack 7. Darkseid is defense 15. He's going to spend 1 point to do a defensive stance or physical, so that's going to take him down to 12 power. So now his defense is 17. So Superman needs to hit a 17 with an attack 7. That means he needs an 11 or higher on 2d8. I am going to overload that once for an additional dice, and I'll overload it again due to energy for the +3 damage. So I need 11 or higher on 3d8 to do a punch against Darkseid. Let's see what happens. 8, 9, 10, 11. That is barely a hit, but that is a hit. So that means I do 3 points of damage plus 3 for the overload. That's 6 points of damage. Darkseid has resistance of 2, so that's 4 damage against Darkseid from Superman. That puts Darkseid in the pale, so he'll have to do a knockout check at the end of the turn. Not particularly worried, his stamina is pretty high, but Darkseid is taking some damage. Now keep in mind, Darkseid did take a little bit of damage earlier. He's got Regenerate 5. That's ridiculous. So putting damage on him is good, but at the end of the turn, I've got no one else to attack him really. Maybe Cyborg comes up and does something, but I think Discretion's the better half of Valor. He might end up doing some call marker placement, but yeah, damage on Darkseid, but he regenerates, so let's see what happens. So that was Superman. Let's go back over to the villains and see who they activate next. Over to Darkseid now. He is going to do a God Strike punch against Superman. So his attack is 6. He's down to 11 power now because he's in the pale. So he did lose 1 power, and his attack is only 6 now because he's in the pale. So his attack is 6. Superman's defense, physical defense, is 15. He's going to spend his last remaining power point to bolster his defenses of physical, so that puts him at a 17. That means Darkseid needs to get a 12 or higher to hit him. So he's going to overload that attack twice because he's got energy. So once to hit and once for the bonus to damage. So I need 12 or higher on 3d8 to hit with the God Strike, Godsmack, that's a band. I need 12 or higher to hit with the God Strike attack. Let's see what happens. That is definitely a hit. Oh, it would have been funny to get a crit in there too, but that's definitely a hit. So the damage on that is, it is a damage 4 attack, overloaded, plus 2 damage, that's 5, 6. Plus he's got Power Master, which gives him an additional +1 if he overloads it. So that's 7. Resistance 2 to physical, so that is 5 damage to Superman. Alright, that attack took 6 power out of Darkseid. He's got 5 power left. So he's going to do a grab and throw on Hawkman and see if he can just throw him off the building. So a grab and throw costs 3 power. He is attack 6. Hawkman's physical defense is 15. He is all out of power, so he just needs to hit a 15. So I need a 10 or higher on 2d8. So, but I really want that connect, so I'm going to overload that. So I need 10 or higher on 3d8 to do a grab and throw on Hawkman. He gets it. No, barely, but he gets it. So he does a grab and throw. He's a strength 6 person. So he's going to throw him 12 inches, 5 damage, and plus 2 for the fall. So Darkseid threw Hawkman. He landed there. Hawkman is actually resistance 1, so that does 6 points of damage, which is enough to put him in the pale, but not enough to kill him. So that's 6 points of damage to Hawkman. 1 power left on Darkseid. He's going to spend that last power, and he's going to try to drop a call marker. Need a 12. Got it. All right, so drop a call marker there. And that is Darkseid's turn. We only have Cyborg left on the Justice League. We'll go over to him. All right, I'm going to try to be smart with Cyborg. I'm just going to walk him over here. And I'm going to see if he can drop a call marker. Next turn, he's going to join his buddies with trying to attack Darkseid. But Cyborg's willpower is 8. Let's see if he can drop a call marker. He got it. Outstanding. So 1 call marker there. And that is everybody's activation for turn 5. All right, that's the end of turn 5. Let's take a quick look at the board state. For the Justice League, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 call markers. For the villains, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 6-5. Justice League's got the edge there. So Justice League gets +1 for having more call markers out this turn. So that's +7. No models were taken out of play. So it's +7 to the Justice League and +5 to the villains this turn. That puts us at a score of 22-16 in favor of the Justice League at the top or at the bottom of turn 5. All right, so in terms of knockout checks, Batman is already knocked out, so he'll try to awaken upon activation in the next turn. Hawkman is in the pale. He is knocked down, but he is not knocked out. His stamina is 9. Let's see if he goes knocked out this turn. I need a 9 or lower. He's absolutely fine. So he got a 4 there. So Hawkman is not knocked out. He's just knocked down. Darkseid is in the pale, but the regeneration happens at the end of the turn. So I believe I do not need to check knockout for him. But if anyone has better rules knowledge on that, do let me know. No one on the villain's side is in the pale. So that's going to be the board state at the end of turn 5. We're going to go into the dice draw bag to see who gets priority. Turn 6, the final turn. All right, turn 6. Let's see who gets turn priority. Reach into the dice bag here. Final turn. Villains again. All right, first activation for the villains. I'm going to go with Darkseid, and he's going to try to do a beatdown here. But first, before we do that, he is going to try to spend 1 power and place a call marker. So he regenerated 5 health as per his rules. He's only sitting on 3 damage, so he's back up into the gray. So he's got 13 power. So he's going to spend 1 of those power to try to place a call marker. His willpower is 10. Let's see if he can get it. 10 or lower. 2d8. Oh, just barely gets it. So he does place a call marker successfully. So we're going to do that right here. Oop. Place a call marker right there. And that is his first action. Okay, next up for Darkseid, he is going to try to put a model out of commission, and his best chance of doing that is to attack Hawkgirl. So he's already placed a marker, so he gets 1 point for that as long as Superman or somebody else doesn't take it off. His next best option to get points is to remove a model, so he's going to attack Hawkgirl. So he's going to do a grab and throw, so that's going to cost 3. Now, Hawkgirl's defense is 15. She's going to spend 1 power, and she's down to 6, to boost her defense up to 17. Darkseid's attack is 7, so that means he'd need 11 or higher on 2 dice to get that. So he has, so he'll need 11 or higher. So he's going to overload that. So he's going to add 1 more power to that attack for a total cost of 4, and try to do a grab and throw and throw her down. He needs 11 or higher on 3d8. You know what? He's got energy, so he can actually overload it again to get to really make sure. So that's going to cost him 5 power. He really needs to connect with this in order to make sure that he puts her down. So 4 dice, since he's got energy, he can put 2 dice towards additional dice, or 2 points towards additional dice. So 4 dice, I need 11 or higher to grab and throw her. Not only do I do that, but I get a crit as well. A double crit. Wow, that's pretty brutal. So definitely get 11 or higher. Base damage on that is his strength -1. So that's strength 6. So 5 points of damage. 6 for the crit. 7 for another crit. Oh boy. And 8 because he is a Power Master. So he is going to spike her like a football for 8 points of damage and knock her down. Oof, brutal. That 8 points of damage immediately puts her into the dark. Oops, I'm looking at the wrong person. Immediately puts her in the dark here. So I need to do a stamina check to see if she stays awake. Her stamina is 7. Oh boy, she might be knocked out. 7 or lower. She's knocked out. -4 to all defenses. She is knocked out, and Darkseid still has 7 power left. Ooh, not good. All right, with Hawkgirl down, her defenses are now 11. Darkseid sitting on 7 power. He's going to spend 3 power for his green attack of God Strike. That is going to take 3 power. It will do 4 damage if he hits. He's not going to overload it because I don't feel like I need to. Plus, I got something else cooking in the wings for Superman here. So I need 5 or higher on 2 dice to put Hawkgirl out of the game. Can I do it? Yes. That is 3 damage to Hawkgirl. She is completely KO'd and she is out of the game. Okay. Darkseid has 3 power left, and he is going to do his once per game soul manipulation power. Target must be less than 6 inches away. The target enemy model suffers stun 5, ensnare 3, and distract 3. Oh, that is brutal. So there's no roll for that. It just happens. It's a once per game power. So Superman loses 5 power. That's a big deal, folks. Down from 10 to 5. He is ensnared 3, so he loses 3 inches off his movement, and distract 3 as well. So that's incredible. That is Darkseid's turn. That was pretty powerful. That's everything. That's all the gas he's got in the tank. So that is Darkseid's turn. We're going to move over to the Justice League. All right, next up, I'm going to activate Cyborg. Really what I wanted to do, if he got turn priority, he could have flown up here and done some damage to Darkseid. I don't know that really matters anymore. So really what I think I'm going to do is fly him over to that Parademon and see if he can throw him back and see if I can keep him from potentially placing another call marker. So I'm going to spend 3 to fly. That'll certainly get him right here. And then he is going to do a grab and throw on that Parademon. Okay, that Parademon's physical defense is 17. Cyborg's attack is 6. So that means I need 12 or higher on 2 dice. I'm going to overload that to make sure that I connect. So I'm going to do that on 3 dice. So I need 12 or higher on 3 dice in order to grab and throw him. Connects. Yes, thank goodness. I was hoping for a crit, but didn't get one. Okay, so that means he is strength 3. I get to throw him for 6 inches. I also do strength -1 damage, which is 2, but he's also got resistance 1, so it's only going to do 1 point of damage. So I'm going to move that Parademon back 6 inches. All right, that Parademon has been thrown and knocked down and taken 1 point of damage. I'm going to move over to the Justice League, and Hawkman is still awake. So I'm going to see if I can stand him up. I'm going to spend 1 power to put him to 6. He's going to stand up. And he's fairly close to that Parademon. So he is going to fly over there. He's going to spend 3. That's going to leave him with 3. Let's see. Is that what I want to do? His Nth Metal Mace costs 3, but honestly, I'm not going to do enough damage to really affect the outcome there. I think actually what I'm going to do Decisions. I think the better half of valor here is for him just to try to place a call marker, because he's not going to do appreciable damage to that Parademon. and the point is more worth, the victory point is better points spent. So I need 8 or lower to place a call marker with him. Got it. All right. So he places a call marker. We're going to put it right there. And that's going to be Hawkman's turn. We're going to go back over to the villains. Okay, I'm going to activate this Parademon right here. Same old story. We're going to try to drop a call marker. I need to get a willpower roll of 7 or lower to drop one. Oh my goodness. Didn't get it again. No dice. All right. Well, there's not much more he can do there, so we're going to go back over to the Justice League. Justice League. Justice League activation. I'm going to try to wake up Batman. His stamina is 10. Need to roll 10 or lower. 2d8. Nope. Batman is just going to snooze through the rest of the game. He's very happy where he's at. He's gonna nap. He's good. He's happy. He's got a pillow. He's feeling good. We're gonna stay there. Let's go back over to the villains. It's a race to place call markers. I'm going to activate this Parademon on a 7. Nope. Can't seal that deal. My goodness, these Parademons. Poor Parademons can't seem to seal the deal. All right, so that is that guy. He is activated. Back over to the Justice League. The only one left standing is Superman. All right, over to Superman. Darkseid did a really smart thing with the soul manipulation. He pulled off half of Superman's power, so he doesn't really have a whole lot of gas in the tank. That Eddie was normally. He could have done a couple of super punches and maybe even taken out Darkseid if he was lucky. But at this point, I don't think that's super feasible. But might as well do some damage and see where we stand here. I think if I tally up the points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we're ahead on call markers placed. So I think with what power Superman has left, the smart thing to do is try to place an call marker, and then with the remaining power, just for giggles, we're going to do a grab and throw on Darkseid. So Superman's willpower is 9. Let's see if he can spend 1 power and place one last call marker. Oh, he fails. He fails by 1. Bummer. Okay, so he spent that 1 power. He cannot place a call marker. With that 4 remaining power, he's going to attempt to do a grab and throw of Darkseid. So his attack is 7. Darkseid's defense is 15. Darkseid does not have any power to bolster his defenses, so it is a 7 versus a 15. That means I need a 9 or higher on 2 dice. He's got 4 power. A grab and throw will cost 3, so he's going to overload that once to grab and make sure for hit dice to grab and throw him. So I need 9 or higher on 3d8 to grab and throw Darkseid. I got it. Look at that. No crit, unfortunately, but Superman is strength 6. That means a 12-inch throw, and it's a 2 inches or 7 inches fall as well, so that'll take 2 points of damage. So his strength is 6. For a throw, it's -1, so that's 5 points of damage. 7 points of damage because of the fall, and then -2 because Darkseid has a resistance 2 to physical. So that's going to be 5 points of damage and a 12-inch throw from Darkseid, of Darkseid from Superman. Okay, and with that throw, Darkseid is down. The only other model that needs to be activated is this Parademon that got thrown by Cyborg earlier. There's really only one thing that matters in this game right now, and that is placing call markers. So he's going to spend 1 power to stand up. He is also going to try to place a call marker. He could do a breath weapon against Cyborg, but there's really no point. It's not going to make any difference. There's no way that Cyborg would be put out of the game based on that. So 7 or lower, 4 call marker. Oh my goodness, did not get it. I'm gonna have to go back and see how many failures of call markers happened in this game, but I think it's pretty atrocious. Okay, so that is the last activation for the game. I'm gonna come back with a recap of the turn and see where we're at. Okay, turn 6 recap. Let's do the math. So we've got, for the Justice League, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 call markers. Okay, so 7 call markers for the Justice League. For the villains, there's 1, 2, 3, nothing over there, 4, 5, 6. So it's 7 versus 6. Justice League came out on top that turn. So that means Justice League gets +1 because they have more markers. So that's 8. But the villains got +1 because they took out Hawkgirl. So that's +7 for them. So it's +8 points for Justice League and +7 points for the villains. So that leaves us with a final score of 30 for the Justice League and 23 for the villains. What a game. I thought that maybe the Justice League was going to completely run away after turn 2 or 3 once they started getting points up on the board, but the villains, once Darkseid decided to engage, they started closing that gap a little bit, but not nearly enough. There's a 7-point divide there. So the villains take a loss with Darkseid. The Justice League is victorious, and I thought that was a fun game. I thought it was going to be a little bit of a runaway, but I'm glad it wasn't. And I learned a little bit about both the forces here, so it was a great game. We're going to come back with a post-game analysis.
Okay, well, thanks for watching. That was my third video battle report for the DC Universe Miniatures game, and I keep saying to all my friends and folks that this is my favorite game system of all time. I really enjoy this game. It's both simple and complex. It's got a lot of back and forth, the alternate activations, and the iconic characters that I love. I love the DC Universe. I can't help it. So my favorite game of all time. And I really enjoyed this game. A couple things about this game that I want to state up front. I regret a few mistakes that I made. The first one I didn't even cover yet, but the Parademons have a special rule called Advanced Deploy. And I didn't even realize this until after the game, and I was cleaning up the game room, and I saw that. I was like, oh man, you could deploy them 10 inches forward of your deployment zone, and that would have really, who knows if it would have actually changed the game, but that would have given them more chance to get upfield and into the Justice League's half of the table and potentially have more chances to place call markers. Though I will say, with the willpower of 7, their ability to place those call markers was severely compromised. So I'm not sure how much that would have made a difference. But now that you play this game, that's the first. This is on full transparency. This is the first time I've actually played Darkseid and Parademons. So I'm learning as I'm going too. So I'll remember that for next time. The other mistake that I made this twice, and I feel bad about it. For whatever reason, I don't know why, I placed call markers with the Justice League on their own half of the table, once with Hawkman and once with Superman. It's like, I don't know what possessed me to do that, but that did end up contributing towards the victory for the Justice League. If I go back and look at it, would it have made the outcome different? I don't think so. I'd have to go back and analyze it, but I'm not going to spend that time. It was a fun game. I had fun. I hope you had fun watching it. But that did definitely add to the victory points for the Justice League, maybe a little bit unduly. But I think that a couple of key things with this game. It was a lot of fun. This is a fun mission. You have to get over to the other side. You always play the mission. You play placing those call markers instead of trying to do a war of attrition. You've got to balance that a little bit. And so, very early on, the villains pulled out ahead just a tiny bit. I recalibrated my tactics a little bit with the Justice League. First and foremost, I was trying to get those flying parademons out of the way, and I still think that was a good call on the Justice League side. But then starting to place their own markers, making sure I'm placing them on the right side of the table. But other than that, I think it was actually a really pretty balanced game. Darkseid is a beast. He put the beat down on Supergirl with the Omega Beam, and then a couple of punches, just put her under the dirt. And then with Hawkgirl, just throwing her off the building after, or not throwing her off the building, beating her down on the building. That was pretty brutal. And throwing Hawkman and Batman off the building, and knocking them down and doing a significant amount of damage to them. Darkseid is just brutal beast mode. Now, I do think there are some hard counters to Darkseid, and Superman and the Kryptonians have this same weakness. Is that magic? If you've got a magic team, they're going to go right through those defenses like a hot knife through butter. So there's a little bit of imbalance there with the magic, but I think still Darkseid still has the tools to take on a lot of stuff and still come out victorious. The Parademons I thought were pretty good. One minor mistake I made was with the metallic special rule. The stun should have only stripped. Sorry, the stun was reduced by 1 on any stun effect. So the white noise disruptor from Cyborg would not have stunned them at all. I don't think that would have changed anything because they never spent their full stack of power anyway. So I don't think that was a big deal. But note for future self, don't pull stun off the metallic Parademons. But I think the Parademons they're better than you think they are, particularly they're actually pretty tough with that resistance 1. That actually keeps them in the game, and the breath weapons are so brutal on those guys. Now, the breath weapons in this game didn't come to full effect. I've seen them used a lot better in against other lists where they didn't have as many fire-resistant team members. So particularly like Superman, he's resistance 2 to physical and energy attacks, so he wouldn't take any damage from those. And Hawkman and Hawkgirl are both immune to fire, so there's 3 team members right off the bat that cannot be harmed at all by the Parademon's breath weapon. Half my team on the Justice League is like, I'm just going to ignore your breath weapon. But I think for any other characters that don't have those immunities or resistances, you get a couple of those guys breathing on you, and you're suddenly a lot worse for wear. And they don't have to roll the hit. You just have to roll the agility check. So that's pretty interesting. So I think Parademons and Darkseid are a good combination. I think I like when I take Hawkman or Hawkgirl, I like to take the other. That Comrade special rule is so powerful when you get to double activate those other guys. I think key moments in the game for me, at least, were when Batman was up there on top of the building, just kind of dropping call markers with impunity. I thought that was pretty interesting. And halfway through the game, I was like, Darkseid's going to have to get up there and sort him out. I think other moments that were really key is when Darkseid took out Supergirl. It hit her right off the bat with the Omega Beam. I thought that was pretty brutal, and then put her into the dirt the next turn. Superman, I think he's tough for me because I really love him. He's my favorite DC character, but I find in the game I love him in the game too. But he is hard to make up his points. He does not tend to make up his points fully. The threat of Superman, I think, is worse than the impact of Superman in the game. And I think he's maybe a touch overcosted, but I do enjoy playing him. And I think Darkseid was a key MVP, of course, for the villain side, putting down both Hawkgirl, Supergirl, taking Batman out of the game, throwing him off the roof. Darkseid ended up throwing a lot of people off the roof, which I thought was kind of both horrifying and funny at the same time. And I think MVP on the On the Justice League side, I think that's a little hard for me to say. I'm not really sure. I think Hawkman did a really good job, and I think Cyborg actually ended up placing a lot of call markers on the right side of the table. So I think both of those guys did a really good job, and I'm really proud of what they accomplished in the game. So I had a heck of a lot of fun playing this game. It's hard to play this game solo because I don't have anybody to bounce the rules off of. So I do apologize. There were a couple rules mistakes in this, but I had a heck of a lot of fun playing this game. I hope you had a heck of a lot of fun watching it. Leave me a comment, subscribe if you like this stuff. Leave me a comment. It does give me the motivation to keep putting these out. They're a fair amount of work. I enjoy doing them, but hearing a comment of support always kind of keeps me in the game. So appreciate anything you have to say. Give me feedback. Are there teams or crews that you would like to see pitched against each other in future battles? Let me know, and hit that subscribe button. Appreciate your support, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.